Most of my videos are about terrain painting and scenery and very hands-on things, but actually I spend far more of my time in Blender designing 3D prints, and I thought I would share a couple of tips and techniques that will make it really easy for you to design your own. So my first tip is, before you design anything, go look at the real thing, whether that's the movie, the video game, or just something outside in the street. If you want to model mud, go look at some mud. If you want to model crates, go find some crates. If you want to model cyberpunk crates, go Google cyberpunk crates. If you don't know what it looks like, you really can't design it. But, and this is key, while it's okay to copy real life mud, it is not okay just to copy someone's designs. Use these to inspire you, to get an idea of a feel for something like the concept of cyberpunk. Once you have your concept, you need something to make it in, and that's a 3D print program. Now this is Blender. It's incredibly complex at first look, and whilst there are loads of videos on the internet, they're not always about how to do 3D prints, so it can be a bit of a minefield getting going. But there are loads and loads of different types of programs, so you should find one out there that suits the way you think. I think in a way that Blender suits. Other people find Fusion 360 much easier because they've come from a CAD background. So find a program that you like, and then I'm afraid the only way you will get good at it is practice, practice, practice. Next tip, know your tolerances. If you're going to print with a 0.4 nozzle, you won't be able to lay down a line much bigger than 0.4. So there's no point designing something that's 0.2 wide. It just won't print. Also, if you have any big overhangs, this is like a balcony on a building, something that sticks out, and on the edge of the crate here, you can see that some of those ridges stick out. Now, when it gets to the top of them, I've actually put a bevel on so that there's a 45-degree angle, so it isn't just sticking into midair, because FDM can't print in midair unless you put supports on, and supports can look really messy, and it's another setting to get right. The other thing you can see in this model is those clip holes, and the clip holes going across the top between the left and the right hand side will be bridging. Now bridging varies by layer height, filament and printer, and you need to work out what works for what you want to print in. Now you've got your inspiration, you know how big everything needs to be, and it's tempting to just jump straight in. And do, but start with cubes and cylinders, basic shapes, and block out what it is you want to model. It's important that you know that it works as a whole before you jump into detail. Sometimes it's really hard to correct things, like you add a bevel to the edge of a cube. It's really hard to unbevel it to get it back to the cube if you change your mind about the bevel later. And once you have your block out, it's time to add the details. Now this is where I think the hardest part is. How many details do you do? What size are they? Where are they on your model? And this is again where you need to go back to your reference prints. If you're doing something that's very clean, hard, sci-fi looking, you're going to have a very different view to if you're doing a grim, dark, greebly filled future. The level of detailing is really up to your taste, but there's a couple of instances where details are just so useful. One, looking at this wall, it's a crate. If you have any print defects in your printer like ringing or echoing, adding a little rippling effect or a concrete texture can just help get rid of that. It can also mask the layer lines because you've not got something smooth and flat, which tends to show them up more. Details can drag your eye around. You can use them to add interest to otherwise boring items. A wall can have a vent or a little grate. But details are your chance to make this model your own. Now, 3D print design can be quite time consuming, and that's my next tip. Reuse your assets. And there's two ways you can do this. One, you can bring in things you've already designed. So if I've designed a terminal where you access the HoloNet and it's got a screen and buttons and long little bars and it looks quite fancy, I could bring that in and use it in multiple projects. It's really useful because then you start to have a design theme that's consistent. You know, all your terminals look the same. The same for door locks, even doors. But for me, the main way I reuse my assets is with all my cutters. Now I use a lot of booleans. All my clip holes for these crates, in case you want to clip them together, there's two options, with and without the clip holes. All those clip holes are done with a cutter, and I just brought that in from a previous project. I know that cutter works. It's the cutter that I've used in every other clip hole I've done. And probably the most important tip I can give you is to make sure it prints well. Now, how do you do that? Well, there's a number of things. One, when you're designing it, make sure you design manifold meshes, i.e. you don't have any holes in your mesh that the print slicing software will go, oh, I don't know what to do with this, it's a hole. It really doesn't like them. But two, there's 3D print add-ons, programs that will fix 3D prints for you if they aren't manifold or if they have errors when they go into your slicing software. Nowadays, I design them manifold, I make sure they work, but because I use Boolean cutters, I still get quite a lot of print errors when they export, and I put mine onto formware.co. I'll put a link in the description. And that basically will go through and fix most of the errors. But if you just remember to design from the start, knowing that everything needs to be manifold, that you check things when you do extrusions, when you cut things, you know that you haven't left any holes, it can make a huge difference to that output. So those are some of the most important tips and tricks that I use. But actually there's so much more detail beneath them that I could go into, and that's a whole nother set of videos. I'll probably be talking about it on the live stream on Sunday, as well as my new Kickstarter, the Training Grounds, that goes live soon. There's a link in the description, so go check it out now. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, any tips or comments, put them down below.